Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show, from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Alright, GCW, the People versus GCW, happened on Sunday night at the Hammerstein Ballroom there in New York City. Just finished it up today. I'm going to run down the card, everything that happened. I've seen some stuff online, a little bit of hate, it looked like. I know, looks like Brett Lauderdale took some heat for some things. First off, I'm going to say Effie finished the story. I love it. So it's going to run down from top to bottom. Big night at Hammerstone, 6-hour show. A lot to go through. So we had two kickoff show matches. We had the Scramble, the GCW famous Scramble. One called Manders, Blake Christian, Fuego del Sol, Marcus Mathers, Mr. Danger, and Rich Swann. Marcus Mathers, one of the WWE ID guys. Which is kind of cool, so he's still able to wrestle in GCW. Kind of like following those guys. A lot of them I do know, some of them I don't, but every time I see one, it's like, oh, okay, he's one of the ID guys, so it's kind of cool to see them. Yeah, this match starts, the ring clears out except for Rich Swann and Fuego del Sol. They go after one another. Mr. Danger, big time moonsault to the floor. Blake Christian, Mr. Danger, Spanish fly off the top rope. Manders, big powerbomb on Swann. Fuego del Sol actually ended up doing a coast to coast with a trash can. Manders, with Fuego del Sol, basically just did this. I don't even know what to describe the move. It looked like he almost murdered him on the outside. Manders ended up pinning, one called Manders pinned Marcus Mathers. And so 11 minutes just the power of Manders and just the high fly to everybody else. Mr. Danger just going quay on flying around, Lucha Libre stuff. I ended up giving the match 3 3/4. Now these two pre-show matches or kickoff show matches were not part of the preview I did. Of the preview, 12 matches. 8 and 4 of my picks, so I was pretty proud of that. Next up, we had the Rumble match. We had PCO, Too Tough Tony with Violent J, Ariel Van Gogh, Austin Luke, Bam Sullivan, Big Van, Bobby Flaco, Brooke Havok, CPA returning to GCW, Crowbar, ECW guy, Drew Blood, Dyln McKay, Facade, JP Garrison, Hallowicked, Jay Lucas, Jeffrey John, Mark Angel, Rob Shit, same Stackhouse. It's crazy some of the size of same Stackhouse and seeing him do freaking wheel kicks. Shane Mercer, Sleepyhead, Starboy Charlie, Terry Yaki, Titus Alexander, Tommy Grayson, and Zayda Steele. 15 minutes and 45 second over the top battle royal. Final four was Shane Mercer, same Stackhouse, PCO, and Brooke Havok. PCO ended up winning the Rumble match. I give it a 3 1/4 star. Now, at the end of it, PCO cut a promo, kind of crapping on TNA. He had the TNA Digital Media Championship in his hand during the show, or during the entrance of the show, as I'm watching TNA Genesis on the other screen at the time. And after he won it, he cut a promo kind of putting down TNA and took a sledgehammer to the TNA Digital Media Championship. I'm going to say he vacated the title and maybe was fired or quit or left TNA, so we'll see. Now, if you go to their website, or they're on the Cage Match, go to their site, the Digital Media title is not listed. If you just search the TNA Digital Media title, it should vacate it at the GCW show. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what TNA does with that. Genesis review coming shortly. I know they have a live TNA Impact on Thursday, so I don't know if they'll address the Digital Media title, if they're just going to be done with it. But that'll be interesting to see. Now we had Brett Lauderdale cutting a promo. A couple of people I saw kind of crapping on his promo skills because he's reading his phone. Dude owns the company. He's not a performer. He doesn't cut promos on a daily basis. He can't memorize something in 5 minutes. I'm right there with him, dude. But he goes on just to say that the biggest show, the highest gate of any show in the last 30 days at Hammerstein. He talks about GCW, independent company, Hammerstein twice, the first real independent company to run Hammerstein. Accurate facts. Yes, AEW and Ring of Honor did Hammerstein last month. Here's the difference. When you have the production that and the entrance ramps that an AEW and a Ring of Honor have, those take seats away. So where they had the stage for GCW, people sitting on the stage where everybody walked out, you don't have those people sitting on that stage for AEW Ring of Honor. You have a stage. Same way with the production areas. You have more production area than you do for GCW. So yeah, of course it's going to be a higher gate because there's more people there. I just don't understand the hate that some of the show got. I've seen a little bit online. Yes, it was a long show, but guess what? Most of the people that would hate on this show aren't GCW fans. This is GCW at Hammerstein is kind of that. I'm just going to say it, WrestleMania-ish kind of show. You had some bigger entrances than normal. You had some unique things that normally doesn't happen at a GCW show. So why the hate? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. If you're a GCW fan, hopefully you love the show. You had Effie finish his story. The unfortunate injury to Alley Catch. Wow. That did not look good. If you were a fan back in the 90s and it's all Sid Vicious, come off the ring, and what his leg or top rope, what his leg did, you had flashbacks. When Alley Catch is laying on the ground, yeah, her leg did not look good. But the first match, let's jump to that match. So the number one contender match was Effie versus Alley Catch. Alley Catch comes off the side of the ring, hits the floor, hits the barrier there. Her foot's like that. Her left ankle, it did not look good. Hopefully she's going to be okay. Of course, 4 minutes and 35 seconds into the match, they end up calling the match. Obviously, Effie wins. Mance comes out, hits Effie with the belt, puts Effie through a table. Just to kind of rough Effie up a little bit for the main event. There was a little bit of a delay going into the next match because they even announced, they put on social media, the New York Athletic Commission requires there to be an ambulance on site for any show like this. Well, that ambulance took Alley Catch to the hospital. They had to wait 5-10 minutes for a new ambulance to show up. So they had the ambulance on site. I'd rather than be safe than sorry. I'd rather have wait 5 or 10 minutes for the ambulance to get there, and then something happened right after that and need an ambulance. So, but that was actually the second match of the card. The first match was the DLC match for the vacant Ultraviolent title in the Unification with the Extreme title. You had Tremont, the cutest in the world, Maki Itoh, Brandon Kirk, his final match. He announced this is going to be his final match in wrestling. Ciclope, Dr. Redacted, that dude is crazy. Drew Parker, John Wayne Murdoch, Matthew Justice, and Rina Yamashita. Wow. We had trash can lids, chairs, ladders, doors, tables. We had actual tables. It was kind of cool. Now, one thing about this show, to a normal GCW show, there wasn't a lot of blood. There wasn't light tubes. There wasn't glass. What I had been paying attention to, kind of doing this, kind of as I watch all these GCW shows, different athletic commissions of different states and cities have different requirements. If you look at GCW, most of the time there are no barriers. There were barriers. The New York City Athletic Commission requires that. Obviously, blood, light tubes, that stuff wasn't used because of it's New York City. The Athletic Commission require different requirements. When they go to the showboat, you notice that's where all the Tournament Survivals happens, and Cage Survival, and all the just, Nick Gage Invitational, the NGI, how just insanely crazy those get. Different athletic commissions. So we had, like I said, chairs, doors, tables, everything here. Ciclope does a moonsault off a ladder onto multiple people. Itoh does a crossbody off the ladder. Ciclope kisses Rena and then suplexes her off the ladder through a table on the floor. You had Drew Parker doing Swanton. He set up 2 tables. Ended up putting Itoh and Murdoch on the 2 tables on the floor. Has the ladder on the floor. Climbs a 10-foot, 20-foot ladder. Swantons through the tables. You had Matthew Justice, Death Valley Driver, on the ladder on Dr. Redacted, on the floor to the guardrail. You had the typical ladder spot. You see the ladder set up, the ladder here to the turnbuckle. Matthew Justice goes through that ladder. You have Murdoch and Matt Tremont on the ladder. The first one's that literally you get to let him touch the belt. Tremont forks John Wayne Murdoch. I want to see that match. Matt Tremont, John Wayne Murdoch. Let's go. So Matt Tremont was able to pull the titles down. 15 minutes, 55 seconds. Your new unified Extreme Ultraviolent Champion, Matt Tremont, the Bulldozer. I get a match 3 3/4 star. Hella good match, I thought. A match that started out with 6 people and turned to be a 9 for 2 titles. Yeah. Crazy. And then we had the alley catch incident, and then we had the 6-man tag, the New York City OGs, Amazing Red, the owner of House of Glory, Grim Reaper, Homicide, taking on the real FM pros, Griffin McCoy, Kerry Murdoch, and Tony Deppen. Start of the match, like I said, was delayed, waiting for the ambulance. Kerry Morton took Grim Reaper's blunt and just broke it in half and tossed it, which, we all know it upsets Grim Reaper when this happens. Reaper needs his blunt in order to get the energy and what he needs to go out and wrestle properly. So luckily for all of us, Reaper had a second one, able to light it up, was able to get the energy, get the power he needed to go out and put on a great 11-minute match in this 6-man tag. Ricky Morton ended up coming out and attacking the Sun Carry, hit a Canadian Destroyer on Ricky Morton. 60-something years old doing Canadian Destroyers. The Rock and Roll Express. Oh my goodness. They had a match against LAX a few years ago, and Ortiz wanted to do the Canadian Destroyer. Kerry Morton was like, "How do you do it? How do we do this?" So he taught him how to do it, and now freaking Ricky Morton does it all the time. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy should not be doing Canadians every left and right," but he does. Amazing Red. So after the match, we had the New York OGs get the victory. Homicide grabs Mike, pulls out a present, and Homicide presents a plaque to Amazing Red to be the first of the 2025 Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame class. Thought that was super cool. Independent wrestling, in my opinion, is starting to make a comeback. The stronger the independent wrestling scene is, the stronger AEW, TNA, and WWE is. It trickles up, it also trickles down. Right now is probably the resurgence of pro wrestling. If you think about the late 90s, the Attitude Era, you had WCW, you had WWF, you had ECW. When ECW goes away and WCW goes away, TNA came in, not as much, not as big. Ring of Honor came in. You kind of had the big company in WWE and everybody else. Now you kind of got that tier system. You got that big WWE, but you have a big company in AEW. You have a big company in TNA. You have, the ability for us U.S. fans to see New Japan Pro Wrestling because they come to tour in the United States. You also have all the streaming. You can watch the UK. You can watch New Japan. You can watch Noah, DDT, etc. And you have all the streaming for the independent stuff as well. Thriller TV Plus, and IWTV, among other, YouTube, etc. So yeah, I think we're seeing a resurgence in the indies right now. And GCW is the leader in that as well, I believe. Putting on shows like this, having these kind of guys like an Amazing Red, Homicide, who've done everything in the business, with the young kind of guys like Griffin McCoy and Kerry Morton. I ended up giving a 6-man tag 3-star, lasted 11 minutes and 5 seconds. Next up, one of the matches I was looking forward to, we had the GCW Tag Titles on the line. We had champions. Violence is Forever, Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo taking on Garbage Daddies, Alec Price and Cole Raddick, the Ratty Daddy. As soon as this match gets started, hot and heavy, you had Alec Price basically step up off Cole Raddick's back and just Swann on Koo. You had Garbage Daddies going for a double DDT. So both of them are trying to do a DDT. It gets blocked. The power of Violence is Forever picking both guys up, put them back to back. You had freaking Greeny and Price just throwing just hammer shots at each other in the middle of the ring. Koo and Price did the same thing a little bit later. This was just a fight with these 4 guys. Violence is Forever with Dominic Green and Kevin Koo. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on how you look at it, the new GCW Tag Team Champions, the Garbage Daddy. Big Alec Price fan. Glad him and Cole Raddick, the Ratty Daddy, won this. 3 3/4 star, 14 minutes and 28 seconds. Next up, we had the Steel Cage match. Charles Mason and Richard Holiday. Richard Holiday comes out wearing all white with a white cowboy hat. First thing I thought when I saw him was, oh my God, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25. And even, I think Jordan Castle, one of the crazy that Jordan Castle goes, he's no Heartbreak Kid. Now, obviously the backstory with Charles Mason and Richard Holiday. Charles Mason led a faction with Holiday and Paro. Apparently Charles Mason was involved in a murder. Richard Holiday is the one that turned him into the police. He found the bloody knife and turned him in. Holiday was found innocent, but what was it? He was mentally insane or something, so he was assigned to an insane asylum or something, and ended up attacking. I love the video promo. Attacking 2 guards and escaping. Shows up at Paro's house and takes out Paro's husband. Goes after Richard Holiday, and just you've had all these run-ins, both of them attacking each other. They wanted to do this in a steel cage, so Holiday could not run away from Mason, and nobody else can get involved. Which, yeah, okay, whatever. Mason elbow drop off the top of the cage. Well, Paro ends up coming in the cage, attacking Mason. You have an old friend of Charles Mason's from his JCW days, Slade, come out, climb the cage, get Paro out of there, take Paro out. So it's one-on-one. During when Slade was taking Paro out, he ends up spearing Paro through a door. And you leave just Mason and Holiday just to tear each other apart. Charles Mason ends up getting the victory. I ended up giving it a 3-star. It was just okay. Was nothing spectacular. I do expect more to come of this, I think. I think they're going to do more with it. In my preview, I kind of thought Holiday would win, so they would carry it on further. But it's kind of like if that was the Peace-Style Resistance end, it's like it left you wanting more. Next up, we had A lot of people thinking one thing, what it was going to be, and it kind of ended up being something else. We had Cindy Akeem taking on El Hero del Vikingo, one of the top Lucha Libre stars in the world. The first U.S. company for Vikingo to work for was GCW. This honestly started off kind of mat wrestling these two guys, so it wasn't the high flying that we're used to out of either one of them. Akeem did this twist crossbody from the apron to the floor onto Vikingo. Vikingo now has been banged up from an ankle. He missed a bunch of time earlier in 2024. Akeem hit the final act, and Vikingo kicked out, and the announcer said it's the first time anybody's ever kicked out of the final act. The final act was like a somersault, backflip, somersault into a cutter. Vikingo stands on the corner, on the kind of where the top ring buckle in the corner, and this pole there. Basically, Akeem is standing in the middle. He does a freaking, almost like a destroyer on Akeem off the apron. Pretty sick looking move. Just like I said in the preview, I thought to continue the build of Cindy Akeem as a Lucha Libre guy, you had to have him beat Hero del Vikingo, which they did. 10 minutes and 33 seconds, I give it 3 1/4. So it's a pretty decent match, but it wasn't just anything over the top. Next up, we had a 6-man tag. We had ECW Originals, Hammerstein Ballroom Originals, Little Guido, Super Crazy, and Tajiri. By God, all three are looking old. Taking on Los Desperados, Eres Gringo Loco, and Jack Cartwheel, who's also been WWE ID'd. This match was very interesting. You had Gringo and Tajiri with the Tarantula in the ropes. You had Aries and Super Crazy with the Tarantula in the ropes. You had Little Guido and Jack Cartwheel in the ring. Really doesn't big happen after that with that. Super Crazy the moonsault from the balcony. That was kind of the coolest spot. They start fighting out into the crowd. And you're like, okay, where did Super Crazy go? All of a sudden he's piercing the balcony and does a freaking moonsault off the balcony. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Tajiri went to spray the green mist at Gringo, missed and hit the referee. Eris sprayed the red mist at Tajiri. Then we get the Los Desperados winning. 12 minutes, 35 seconds. I actually thought in the preview, I thought the ECW guys would win. I thought because it's Hammerstein, because they're ECW, they would have won this. But apparently not. So Los Desperados getting the victory. Again, it's one of those matches where it's like, it was okay. It wasn't great. I ended up giving it 3 1/2. So, I mean, it could have been better, but it was just okay. Next up, we had the Bloodsport match. We had Josh Barnett call out any performer in the world who wants to come test their skills at Bloodsport. We had Tom Pestock come, formerly known as Baron Corbin. Now, Bloodsport is basically take the ropes away, kind of a striking submission hold. You know, there's no like pinfalls and that kind of stuff. It's knockout or DQ or referee stoppage kind of deal. Tap out. There's been 12 Bloodsports at WrestleMania weekend typically. And been a few other ones during the year, but this year at WrestleMania will be the 13th Bloodsport. Whole show based on those matches, and WWE guys have actually been involved in NXT guys. So, but seeing Tom Petstock show up, Baron Corbin, and challenge Josh Barnett here, it's like okay. Even the announcers point out this is his first ever match, first ever thing of any kind outside the WWE, anything in pro wrestling outside the WWE. I thought that was telling. You know, we know he's a 2-time Golden Gloves winner in Kansas City. But yeah, for his first post WWE wrestling, I didn't think he did too bad at all. I'll be honest with you. 9 minutes 57 seconds, and it was a 15-minute time limit here against Josh Barnett. Did pretty good. I ended up giving it a 3-star. Hopefully he'll be on the Bloodsport show, the Josh Barnett GCW Josh Barnett, Bloodsport at Mania. But yeah, not too bad in this first post WWE show. Next up, we had Mega Bane versus Atticus Kogar. Atticus Kogar returned last fall in GI7, attacking Soyrek. He's attacked multiple people. He wrote a letter entitled Fort Lauderdale. He's been this kind of, I guess, like he's been harmed for something that he didn't do, and he's just this villain, was just this, you know, kind of trying to describe this character he's trying to do. It's almost like psychotic trying to break out, with him returning to GCW, taking on Megan Bane. He ends up attacking her a few shows ago, takes her headdress. He literally comes out dressed almost just like her. And it's like, that was kind of eerie, kind of freaky. He takes things, handfuls of the skiers, puts them in 3 of the turnbuckles. So you have available, I guess. He ends up putting her, when they're fighting on the outside, lays her across the barrier, and jumps off the ringside onto her. He takes these skewers and tries to hit her with it, ends up putting them in the turnbuckle, and then puts a couple more out there. His brother, Otis Kogar, comes out, attacks Megan. Well, a masked assailant comes in and ends up spraying hairspray or something in the face of Otis to take him out. It was Soyrek, who retired as Ultraviolent champion. She ends up tasing Kogar like he's been tasing other people, and that led to Megan Bane getting the victory. And they gave it 3 1/4. It was a fun little brutal match, but Megan Bane, the Megasis, seen her on AEW, seen her wrestle here at GCW. It's like, okay, she can kind of do the different worlds, kind of like Masha Slamovich. It's crazy to see Masha Slamovich sitting at ringside at NXT, defending her TNA Knockouts Championship. Oh yeah, and defending her JCW Championship as well. Next up, we had Joey Janela taking on Masato Tanaka, ECW legend. I was expecting different outcome of this match. I know Joey did a top rope splash, or Tanaka did a top rope splash, through a table. Joey ended up doing Joey did a brainbuster on Tanaka on the chair. Joey did kind of a razor's edge looking move, kind of from the apron through a table down the bottom. Joey and Tanaka Joey suplexed Tanaka off the top rope through some chairs to end up getting the victory there. 12 minutes and 30 seconds. I give it 3.5. At the end, we had Sabu, ECW original Sabu, come out, and Joey announced Sabu's final retirement match at Joey Janela's Spring Break. I'm assuming versus Joey Janela, but we'll see. But yeah, so Sabu calling it a career at Spring Break WrestleMania weekend. So that could be fun. Next up, we just had a freaking joke. We had Matt Cardona open challenge. Hoping because he faced Chris Jericho at Ring of Honor. I was hoping it was Jericho. I was hoping because of the Ring of Honor tie with Cardona and Hammerstein, and what that area means to the Briscoes. Maybe it was Mark Briscoe. No, it was Tommy Invincible. Are you kidding me right now? Yeah. Matt Cardona won 1 minute and 44 seconds. And then Matt Cardona said, Matt Cardona's too good for this. We need a real challenger. Send somebody else. And Microman comes out. Okay, whatever. Microman came out minute 31. Jimmy fucking Lloyd's music hits. And Broski Jimmy is standing behind Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona's looking at the stage where the hard camera's set up. He's just looking. The music hits. He's like, wait, that music sounds familiar. And you got Jimmy Lloyd sitting behind him like. So you had Jimmy Lloyd turning on Matt Cardona, For this last year, he's been Broski Jimmy, Matt Cardona's slave. And so he finally returned to Jimmy effing Lloyd that we all love. And turned on Matt Cardona, hit him with a Zack Ryder, ended up getting the 1-2-3. And Jimmy Lloyd, the third match of Matt Cardona, ended up beating him 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And then we get to our final main event, the GCW World Heavyweight Title Line Champion, Mance Warner taking on Effie. Like I said in my preview, and like I've said online with Effie needed to finish his story. Effie's been in GCW since day one. He needed to finish his story. He tried to win the GCW title versus against Mance Warner multiple times after Mance turned on him. Their last match, if Effie lost, he could not challenge for the GCW World title as long as Mance Warner was champion. That's when Alley Cats turned on him. After feuding and fighting and brawling and trying to annihilate Mance Warner, Mance came up with the solution of Alley Cats versus Effie. The winner faces him in the main event at Hammerstein. So it was signed. This was Effie's last shot at beating Mance for the GCW World title. Happened to take out his sister, Alley Catch, earlier. Unfortunately, it didn't end like everybody would have hoped, but it wasn't really a fight. So when she's back, hopefully we get Effie versus Alley Catch for the title. So you have Mance just taking it. Effie hits a tombstone on Mance on chairs. Mance leaps toward Effie to put him through a table. Effie caught him and slammed him through the table. Mance did a DDT on Effie through a door. You had Mance leave ringside, go over to the side where the band that played Matt Cardona down to the ring, grab a guitar, come back to the ring. Then you had the Ratty Daddy Cole Raddick come out. Now, Cole Raddick has a thing called the brass ring worn around his neck. It's the number one contender. You cash in at any time, just like the Money in the Bank. It's called the brass ring. So he's standing there in the ring after hitting Mance Warner, mind you, with the guitar in one hand, pulls the necklace off, holding the brass ring in one hand, looking down at Effie and Mance Warner, looked at the referee. The referee's like, Adam Galt was like, you cashing in or not? He looked around, puts the lanyard back on with the brass ring, hands Effie the guitar, and walks away. And you have Effie annihilate Mance Warner with the guitar. 1, 2, 3. Effie finishes story, is the new GCW World Heavyweight Champion. I give it 2 3/4 star. Wasn't their best match of all, but it was pretty good. Yes, this is a long show. Any hate that this show has just goes to show you people don't watch GCW. It's not AEW. It's not WWE. It's got storylines, yes, but it's not that level of production. It's not that level of a show. It's not a TV show. It's a live event show. It is on Thriller Plus. It is on pay-per-view. It is what it is. It's nothing. It's never going to compete with one of the big companies. It's one of the big independent companies. And like Brett Lauderdale says, what they have done in the last 5 years is huge in the independent scene. The world on GCW is around the world. It's just not just a regional area. It is a world traveling. They're going to London. They go to Tokyo. They go everywhere. So GCW is alive and strong. Any hate that this show got, I feel sorry for the people hating on it. You must not be a GCW fan, not watched every show. I've watched every show since 2020. I will continue watching every show. I will continue supporting this company. I will support other companies as well, which I do. I watch a lot of shows. You see the videos here on Robert Sports Show. So that is GCW, the people, versus GCW, which is exactly what the hate online is. It's the people against GCW. Perfect name for the show. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content. From the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania.